Hi and welcome to another episode of the WiEA Pod, where every week we are scouring the property industry to bring you the most incredible stories from across the sector. Now, none of this would be possible without our partners over at Digital Sparks. And if you haven't seen the work that they're doing, creating the most incredible short form social media content, take a look at their Instagram and check them out. For now, grab a cup of tea, settle in. Welcome to the pod. This week, we're bringing you a slightly different episode. This felt like a good idea when we planned it, but we might be jumping into a little bit of a crazy minefield here. Let's roll with it, see what happens. Today, I'm joined by not one, but two guests, two for the price of one. I've got Alice and Daniel Madden, two parts of the Fine and Country Chiswick office. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
I'm going to get straight in, guys. When did you get together? How did you get together? Give me the tea.
Oh, God. The official...
Well, I thought it's all clean.
Oh, wow.
But when we actually first, I don't know if I can tell this, when we first met.
You got to tell me the whole
Starting strong here. Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to make you put your hand on the Bible and tell me everything here.
So...
2015.
I can't remember the years, just
2015.
the ages.
Okay, it's been 10 years.
So...
I love that we're up with an argument already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we will.
We first met.
Okay, oh,
We
God.
first met.
Okay.
Her mum cuts my hair.
Okay.
Still
We're
to
going
this
there.
day. So
Okay.
I used to pay for it before. Now it's free. Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
So you worked together at Thorgills?
We worked with the Thorgills, but we knew each other before that.
Okay.
So Alice's mum cut my hair. I was good friends with her cousin. So we used to go, all of the lads used to go into the shop to get their hair cut. So I think I'd have been about 16, 15,
Don't ask
16, which would have made Alice like 9 or 10 when we first
okay.
met. When we first met. So she'd be in there drawing us in crayons and I'd be little Alice in the shop. And then, what was that, 6, 7 years later, her mum said, oh, she needs a job
Yeah.
in admin.
hmm
And what did you have to say to
I
her?
didn't know what an administrator was. I was about 19 years old. I had no interest in working in an office environment. I really thought I was going to do something practical, and I went to college to study uniform public services. So I wanted to go into either the army or paramedics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the rest is history. They weren't recruiting at the time, so I qualified from college. Dan said he needed some help from an administrative perspective, and the rest is history. But
Yeah.
fell into
You
it.
interviewed with Ben,
Yeah, Ben had...
turned up late.
I did
got
turn up
lost.
late. I got lost. Ben actually had jeans on in my interview because he'd broken his leg playing rugby. And I was like, what sort of dress code is this? Estate agency. It was a tiny little table
And
where our knees were like
Just for
touching.
everyone listening, we're talking about Ben Madden.
Ben Madden,
Worked
yeah.
with- yeah.
Another Madden, yeah.
Yeah.
Another Madden, not related.
Not
but
related,
yeah.
No.
no.
Okay.
And yeah, the rest is history. I must have done something right because I'm still here.
Yeah.
So you were working together. You
Yeah.
weren't together at the time.
No.
You
Yeah,
got
I know,
together,
yeah.
and it's quite a big team at Thorgills at this
It
point.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point, it would have been like, what, 30, 40, maybe 50?
Yeah.
The number, it varied. It went up and down over the years. But yeah, I think at its peak would have been about 40, 50. So
Yeah.
And I think, in that environment, we've all been in a situation where you've met someone through work or whatever. But did that cause drama? Did it cause problems within the team? A good sized team, but still a relatively small kind of family run business.
No,
Yeah.
back then we didn't work as close. I mean, now are as close as you and I are. We sit opposite each other,
We'll come on to
which makes for interesting dynamic for a married couple. But no, prior we were in different offices initially, always in different teams, never really crossed paths. It was only at the sort of team socials that
yeah.
we might gravitate towards one another.
Well, Ben told me that I couldn't see Alice.
Oh, we're going there. Okay.
Oh,
It was forbidden fruit.
oh.
Just because Alice was very, very good at her job, and she was sort of the
What do you
heartbeat.
mean was?
Was at Thorgills. So was very good at her job, and I guess he was worried that it might end badly.
You mean he didn't trust
He didn't
you?
trust me, basically, yeah.
So, and he wanted to keep Alice.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the
Wow.
that's the correct version. And I remember one of the, I might have even been his sister, had seen us messaging each other, and I was like, oh God, Ben's going to find out. So it was Saturday morning. I rang Ben and said, Ben, I've got something to tell you. And at the time, we worked in an office where there was a lift. So I've gone in, and Ben's like, what's wrong? I was like, I'll tell you when you get to the office. So we got into his office. We're there in silence. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to go mad. And I said, look, I said I wouldn't see Alice, but I haven't seen Alice.
You've missed the best part of the story. You
What?
called me before you met Ben and said,
Yeah.
I can't see you anymore. I'm going to go and tell Ben because I feel like he's going to find out. So, it's that he dumped me and was like, it's been, that's the God's honest truth. He was like, it's not going to work out. I've got to tell Ben the truth. Like, thanks, but I think we're going to have to call it quits. And then you tell Ben, you can carry on. But yeah, you had the audacity to call me back and say,
Ben, give us a thumbs up.
We're okay. And I was like, you can sod off.
Yeah.
Excuse my friend.
Well, I think Ben was he thought I was coming in to quit. So I think he was more relieved when he found out it was that. And just said, look, just don't mess around. And we've been strong ever since.
So,
Oh yeah.
so let's talk a little bit. We're going to come on to talk more about you guys.
Yeah.
There's way more questions I want to delve into, but you hadn't been in a estate agency,
No,
so
never.
this was new to you.
Yep.
Dan, how did you get into a estate agency in the first place? Now that this is your whole
Yeah,
lives now, it's
17 years. I don't think anyone grows up wanting to be an estate agent. I went to university. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to continue partying. I knew that much. So I thought university would be another couple of years before I've got to become an adult and make any big life decisions. So I'd done sports science and stupidly thought I'd be playing football all the time. But I was wearing lab jackets, experiments, and I was basically going into, the few lectures I did go into, they might as well have been speaking Spanish. It was physics and biology. So I didn't have a clue what was going on. And after the first year, which I'd failed, I thought, there's no point continuing doing this. I'm just going to fail again and get into more debt. So I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I went into recruitment for a little while, done that for about 6 months in Mayfair, and sort of loved being up in the city, but I was just no good at the role, basically.
It's a brutal world, though, isn't it?
It was just all day cold calling. I would basically get the jobs that the other guys couldn't fill, and I had no experience. So I started having panic attacks.
Really?
And I'm quite, people that know me, I'm quite laid back, I'm quite chilled out, and that's not me at all. And I was on a train one day and I thought I was having a heart attack. Like, my whole left-hand side started going pins and needles, and I didn't know what it was. And then a few weeks later, I was coming home from playing football, and I was in my mate's car, and my whole body just clenched up and I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was having a stroke. So it took me to hospital.
Just the stress of the role.
Yeah. So yeah, when they said it was a panic attack, I knew what it was then, so it wasn't as bad. I could sort of manage it if I knew it was coming on, and I haven't had one since, thankfully.
Presumably you had to make some changes pretty quick because your body's saying this isn't
exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So I think I had a guy who had a third interview, and he called me the day before and said, I'm not going to go into the interview. I'm turning the job down, and that was sort of the last straw for me. So I think my dad had spoke to me previously to say that his mate's son, who was Ben, who we sort of drank in the same circles. He was a couple of years older than me, but oh, you're Madden, I'm Madden. But we didn't know each other that well. But he said, speak to Ben, he's just set up an estate agency, and I think he's looking for people. So I thought, I don't really want to be in the estate. And a lot of my friends had left school and sixth form to become estate agents. I thought, well, I've gone to university, I'm better than that. But I thought I needed a job, so I'll do it just while I decide what I want to do. And straight away, just absolutely loved it.
Really?
And never looked back since then. It's just, I found my calling.
What is it that gripped you?
I think just the buzz of the office environment. I know it sounds cliche. Every day's different. Meeting different people. The highs and lows of agreeing a deal, losing a deal. It's addictive. Yeah.
So did you get the same buzz, Alice? Did a state agency grab you, or did Dan grab you?
No, I know, again, I feel like it sounds a little bit cliche, but I stayed for the people. I really bought into the atmosphere that we created in a really short space of time. I've become closest friends with the people that I worked around, and they were the people I wanted to spend all of my time with, inside or outside of work. And I think that you look forward to going to work each day when you spend more time at work than you do at home.
Yeah.
So for me, it was really important to enjoy the company that I was in, and I did. And I think I stayed for that reason. I did quite a varied role initially. I think we kind of just worked around, Ben and the team and what was needed at the time in terms of if one area needed more support than the other. But quite quickly, I found that I was quite good at detail and administration, and yeah, the rest is history. It's yeah.
So were you at Thorgills when you got married?
We got together in 2015. We got married in 2019.
Yeah.
We actually got engaged off the back of Daniel's 10-year work anniversary trip.
Oh, wow.
So you get a trip of a lifetime. Dan was the first person to hit the 10-year mark, and we got sent to Sri Lanka and the Maldives. And that's where Daniel popped the question and signed up himself over.
2 birds, 1 stone, Dan.
Yeah.
Like the efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was incredible, and we got married, and that's
Yeah.
So Thorgills, the story is incredible in terms of what you guys and what Ben achieved, award-winning, unbelievable market share.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that obviously you were pregnant and were about to go onto maternity leave at the point that you find out that the business has been sold.
Yeah. 9 months pregnant, literally about to go on maternity leave. Yeah.
Well, it's still a sore subject. I still get told off for this to this day. So I obviously knew the company was being sold.
You were MD at the time. Yeah.
I was incredibly loyal, which I can't.
And Ben
knock
had
you for.
told me before he was selling it, and it fell through. And it left me in sort of a limbo, really, sort of what's happening. And I didn't want to pass that on. And Ben had said to me, don't say nothing. And, there were some things that you share, but I thought this was quite an important thing for a lot of people, because if it did get out, then, everyone is now thinking, are their jobs safe? So.
And not only that, though, I imagine that, you've got I'm trying to do the right thing by the team hat, but my wife's pregnant here, and I don't want to put her under any more stress than she needs to feel at this point.
Yeah, my head was all over the place. So having that on Alice as well, I thought it was Ben asked me not to say nothing, and I respected that decision. So, but I still get a lot of stick from Alice to this day.
No, I
for
just
keeping the secret.
Yeah, I can't knock you for that. It was a difficult call, and I think in hindsight, I wouldn't have wanted you to handle it any differently, because it's the unknown, isn't it? You don't know what you're about to go into, and I just didn't like that you took a certain amount of pressure on your shoulders alone, and probably felt feelings that you didn't share with anybody, because it was all a little bit uncertain, but it worked out. And
so you found out you were about to go on maternity leave.
I think I went on.
Walk us through that kind of time for you when gorgeous Oliver arriving.
Yeah, I mean, I think from when we had the conversation with Ben initially and then Daniel, I went on maternity leave, I think, at the end of that week, and I worked up until Oliver was due. So Daniel had previously only worked within the Thorgills team, whereas I had started to sort of balance between Thorgills and Finding Country, so I already was part of this team. For Daniel, it would have been completely new. We were building something within Finding Country that I wasn't then part of. I guess I felt a little bit of a way at that time, because it was new, and I knew he would do well in the role, and the team that we had, we managed to carry across a few of the existing teams. So it was never a doubt in my mind that we were going to make something work, and it was going to be as special as it was before. But you're hormonal, everything's up in the air.
Life is switched upside down.
Yeah.
You've got a new role now, and a person depending on you, and it feels lonely.
It did. It definitely did. I've got a really good support system. I've got good friends. I've got great family on both sides. So I feel like that definitely eased some of the pressure, for sure. I kept myself busy. I went to different baby classes and all of that. You just become immersed in a completely different world.
Yeah.
A few friends of mine actually had children. It's a bit of a flurry. We had Ben's child was actually due on the same day as Oliver.
Oh, wow.
We ended up being Clara, his youngest, was 2 weeks early and Oliver was a week late, so they're 20 days apart. But coincidentally, we had the same due date. So we like to say, I'm not sure if there was a social or something that may have happened. Sorry. But no, it was amazing. It was nice for Daniel to, I think, quickly fit the mold of a new team and come home and be able to tell me about it. And
Yeah. I mean, obviously our lives changed massively. Obviously, change of company, Oliver. But yeah, I was devastated when Thorgills sold, because it was Ben's company. But I was speaking to someone about it recently. Actually, it was like a cult. Everyone was just so immersed into the team. I don't think other people will experience that again. They've gone off to different companies, and we still meet up. Not as much as we used to, but sort of for drinks, and everyone still speaks about the good old days.
But how? So how was there this kind of cult vibe? What was the culture? What drove that?
A lot of it was down to Ben. His sort of ethos in wanting to build a family. The people that we brought in were like-minded, of a similar age. A lot of people that worked for the company were friends of a friend, or there was always sort of some sort of connection. So some people might have felt it was a bit cliquey, I think, at first, because everyone, my sister was there. So me and Alice were together. Paulina was there. Ben's sister was there. Katie, my best mates were there. But I think very quickly everyone was very, very welcoming. But yeah, it was just, we'd go out drinking together. People would go on holidays together. It was very, it wasn't, when you try to explain to someone outside, like I've got mates that on a Sunday, they'd be like, oh, I've got work tomorrow. It's all God.
no one felt like that.
Everyone was excited. If you had the Christmas period off for 2 weeks, like, I can't wait to get back into work and start doing some deals and making some money and just getting to see everyone again. It was, at one stage, we was in the Brentford office, we had 30 people in there. It was like a madhouse. There was always someone would be doing push-ups on the floor because he didn't tie a deal, or they'd have the deal bell, or Friday it'd be shots. There was always something. It was a bit like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I was going to
to that
say.
extent, but yeah,
like a real tough period to get over then when that's gone, because that's such it sounds like it was so immersive and not just work, it was life.
Yeah, I mean, it was when Ben had to tell the team, you weren't, I don't think you were there, you were on maternity leave. Was you there?
Yeah.
Was you in the office?
Yeah.
Because Ben said I didn't have to be there. I was like, no, look, I can't not be there. But people were crying.
Yeah.
I shed a few tears. It was, it was so surreal. And then I had to stay there for the next 2 weeks whilst I was like, please, Oliver, just come early so I can go, because I think there's a gap. There's like an exchange completion, like a sale of a property. You've exchanged, and then there's a sort of a period where the new owners will come in eventually. But we had a leaving party. We had basically a party on the last day of Ben's ownership, and we got a double-decker bus. We were doing karaoke. Went to a restaurant, and Oliver was born 2 days before.
Yeah, he was. I came in for the announcement and said bye to everyone, but
because I was like, I'm going to be gutted if I want to be there for the birth of my son, absolutely. But it was like my baby as well. So I would never have missed the birth of Oliver. I would have been there, but I would have been gutted if I'd have missed the party. Luckily,
I can't help you out on this. You're on your own, mate.
No. Luckily, I would have been there regardless.
Did you miss the party then?
No. Oliver was born 2 days before the party, thankfully.
Oh, right, so you still went to the party?
So I still went to the party.
I brought him into the office 2 days old. Yeah.
So yeah, that was nice. There's pictures of Oliver next to the Thorgills sign, and
we actually kept the O. So when the sign got, I don't know if you know, Ben knows this, but when everything was getting taken down and it was changing hands, there was a sort of off the wall sign of Thorgills, and we took the O, and it's now on his bedroom door.
Chloe Hart took the O. She took it for us. I didn't take it.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's on his bedroom door now. We've kept that.
So Oliver coming at the time that he did and arriving is almost like a kind of real line in the sand moment and kind of moving on to the next stage of your, it sounds really trite and cheesy, doesn't it? But the next stage of your journey, the next kind of next kind of phase for you. So talk to me about becoming parents and how this changed everything.
I think that we have a good dynamic. I think we were built, as cheesy as it is, we were built on a friendship. So I feel like we're quite good at picking up when one's having a down day. It doesn't really happen, but you know, if you needed a little bit more time to, I don't know, for work, and if you bring work home, which doesn't always happen, I think we can just read each other and respect each other. And if he come home and saw that I was, I don't know, overstimulated, hadn't washed, for example, in one of those maternity days, hopefully that wasn't a lot, but you know, I think that we're good at getting each other and knowing if you need to pick up the slack, be it put the dinner on, and you know, I think we navigated it together, and I think that's the main thing, that having each other's support has meant a lot. And I think we've always had a good dynamic. Like people ask, how do you sit amongst each other all day long? And you've got a young child and you've got a full-time working job, but it is a balancing act, and it's not always been straightforward, but I think that we do the best we can do.
I mean, this is one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about, right? So I follow you both on social media. Oliver is divine, by the way.
Thank you.
And you've got such a kind of busy life. You're coming into work together. You're sitting opposite each other in the office. You're working together all day, every day. Your life with Oliver, your life outside of work. You are together 24/7, it seems.
Yeah, pretty much.
The
only time we're not is when so Alice leaves work early to pick Oliver up. So we drive in together, we drop Oliver off, and then Alice gets Oliver and I drive home. So that's the only time.
That's not true. No.
Unless obviously I'm out and about in appointments, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, I think that we definitely we can still do things for ourselves and enjoy our time apart. Don't get me wrong. I like to think that I used to never be able to get him to stay home. You love a party, as you've clearly understood, but now it's like I can't pay him to go out, and I think that hopefully is a testament to our relationship, that you say you'd like being home.
Yeah, no,
have
absolutely,
a glass of wine or a bottle of two of wine, and you know we have a laugh together, but it's definitely healthy to have our time apart as well. And
but as you said, it started on a friendship. And you know, first and foremost, we are friends, so it's there are times where it can be a bit intense, and you know, coming home saying, "Oh, how was your day?" And like, you know how my day was? It was shit. Like, let's not speak about it. So, but yeah, we just enjoy each other's company. Obviously, Oliver's amazing.
He is, yeah. We're very lucky.
So yeah, it's
You're being very polite, you two. There has got to be moments where you've thought, we've had a row at home. Somebody's not done the dishes when they said they're going to do it.
Daniel just doesn't do the dishes, so you know there's nothing to argue about.
That's not true.
Well, okay.
Tends to cook.
But how do you switch off between the two? Is there, or do you just think this is life rather than work at home?
I think it's just life. You know, it's estate agency 24/7, and Alice is absolutely amazing. She's so dedicated. You know, she's now looking after the Welsh teams. So she's got a lot on her plate. So if of an evening, I think it does help that we work together, because if Alice has to get on the laptop and do work, I appreciate that, because it's our life, it's our job. It's got to be done, and Alice wouldn't be doing that if she didn't have to. And likewise, sometimes I've got to get on my laptop
and do that after bedtime.
We have there for Oliver.
I think we have quite quickly had to establish like boundaries, because I used to be, I still would say I am, but a bit of a self-confessed workaholic, as is Daniel, and you have to make time to switch off and say, like, I'm going to cut it for the next. We don't get an awful lot of time with him in the day, because we work full time. So I think first thing in the morning, we're really present. The time that we have from nursery to bedtime is like protected time. It's our time, and we'll play and we'll get them ready for bed and we'll wind down. But then, you know, I might say, I'm really sorry, I need to log on this evening, and he'll do dinner, or vice versa. It's just a balancing act. It's not perfect, but we just tend to make it work.
And I agree with you, and I've said this before in different pods. I don't really agree with the whole premise of work-life balance, in that, you know, you work a 9 to 5 and then you kind of have your evenings and your weekends off. My life doesn't work like that, because I've got a child as well. You do what works for you, and I think especially if you find a career that you love and that feels so much more than just a job for you, then you don't resent the fact that that becomes life rather than just a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I mean, it's the way we've all, you know, we go on holiday, there's still emails we've got to send, there's still phone calls we need to make, and it's, I know some people, again, that will, once they're on holiday, that's it. They don't look at their emails, their phone is off, they are not responding. But
I don't cope with that. It stress me out more.
Exactly, yeah. So that's just sort of, I guess, the mentality we've had, and that was sort of part of the cult we brought up at Thorgills, that you weren't made to do it, but people wanted to do it, and it's just carried on. But that time with Oliver is precious. So we try when he goes to bed, if we need to do work, we'll do work. I think it does help that we work together, so we appreciate the sort of the pressures and what's involved. Just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
So I think that the Fine and Country story then. So there hasn't been an awful lot of success in London with Fine and Country until you guys came along. And again, another incredible growth story, and what you're doing is phenomenal. And, some of the amazing people in the industry are constantly shouting you guys out, your Chris Watkins, etc. Look at these guys, look at what they're doing, look at the difference that they're making.
Yeah.
What is the secret? How are you making this successful in London when we know how challenging this market is? 1 in 3 properties that you're listing are going through to sale. What's your secret sauce that's making this work?
I think it's hard work. I think Fine and Country have, it's perceived as a lifestyle business, but it's far from it. There's been lots of agents that have come in that think they can do sort of a couple of hours a day and get the big listing and get the £5 million house that sells, and it's not that. We're knocking on doors every single day. We're delivering letters every single day. We're looking at other ways of what we can do to win new listings. Our biggest sale last year was the result of us knocking on every single door on the street to see if anyone was thinking of selling, because we had a buyer. It's not earth-shattering. It's quite a simple thing to do, but do people want to do that? Because it's awkward. It's difficult.
I bang on about it all the time.
Yeah. And I think we've seen proof of theory. At the start, we thought this could work. It's a good idea. Is anyone else doing it? And we done it and got nothing from it. But we just continued because we're only the top end of the market. There's a smaller sort of piece of the pie we can aim for. So we can't go and knock on every single door or sell every property. So the chunk, the share, the market share we've got is smaller. So we just need to work real hard to make sure we get a piece of that.
I think you're being overly humble. So you nail it, and you are relentless in terms of your lead generation. But the reputation that you've got and the results that you get for your clients are what brings repeat business and what brings recommendation. And I think sometimes London agents may have a bit of a rep for being a little bit cocky on this market, and I don't see that in you guys at all. I see the opposite. I see a real focus on service, focus on doing the right thing by the customer, and that feels like it's really ingrained in this business.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's something that we from Thorgills, we were customer service. We went through various different stages of how we paid the team, and one of them was, rather than commission for selling properties, it was commission based on NPS and customer surveys and things like that to really incentivize the team that customer service was most important. And as long as you gave good customer service, then the rest of the results should follow. So I mean, Alice, her customer service is absolutely phenomenal. If you look at our reviews on Google, I might win the listing and get the price right, and the team will then sell it and get a phenomenal price. but Alice is the ones they need the reviews about, because she is literally on WhatsApp, on emails, on phones, 24/7 if required. And I guess, you know, when you're selling a property, you're forgetting that this is a job for us, but that's their life, and they don't care whether we finish at 6. If they've got a question or they're pissed off or they want an answer to something, they want it immediately. And Alice doesn't think twice about doing that. It's just, yeah, I'll respond. So all the customers absolutely adore Alice.
And it is.
Say like 90%. I'm Marmite. I'm self-confessed Marmite, and I'm okay with that. I've likened myself to being a professional pain in the ass some of the time. Again, I'm okay with it. I think that I think it's really important to know for people to understand that I respect everyone's got a role to play and a part to play, and I'm not trying to tread on solicitors' toes. I think that first and foremost, it's just being a lended ear when somebody's stressed out or somebody doesn't understand the jargon that's been thrown at them, and just simplify it a bit and be a human and realise that, you know, I know you're working and you're busy, and I respect that. And so let me do the legwork for you, because ultimately it's my job. I don't know if people buy it when I say it, but it is the truth that I'm not financially driven. I am people driven, and I get so much more satisfaction from a positive review, for example, or a client coming in and giving me a big cuddle at the end of it, than I do anything else. Like, that's what I do it for, is seeing the difference that we've made. I think it's maybe not that I'm big into star signs, but I'm a Pisces, so I'm quite sensitive person.
Really?
Yeah. Well, shut up. No, it is for me. It's about forming relationships than anything else. And I think you have such a long time to do that when you're under offer to completion. And, you know, it's, if you can't make it work with somebody and then they're not on a level with you or understanding that you're there to try and help, then it's painful for me and it's painful for you. So it's just understanding people's preferred way of communicating. If I've got somebody very direct and they don't want any nonsense, I'll pick that up really quickly and I'll just tailor my approach, you know?
And people are craving that human interaction now more than ever. And that empathy and listening and understanding, and like you say, giving them information in words that make some bloody sense to them, and not the jargon. You know, with everything that we're hearing about AI and tech and all of these things, and don't get me wrong, it's going to be game changing in so many ways. But what it means is that craving of that kind of human support and interaction thing is so much more important than ever. Yeah. And I know you guys as well are really focused on training and development, and really making sure that your team. Yesterday you were at the Women in Estate Agency leadership training as well. So, you know, I know that plays a big part. Just tell me a little bit more about the kind of focus on that, because I know it must be a big part of the success.
Yeah, again, it's, you know, we've when we was at Thorgills, we specifically tried to recruit people that hadn't been estate agents in the past, because they pick up loads of bad habits.
Train a blank canvas.
Yeah, exactly. And the team were so important. If we didn't train them, you know, we'd speak to people that had gone to other bigger corporate agents, and they get, you know, really well trained in the first week, and that is it. And we had a couple of guys leave Thorgills eventually, just because I don't think we weren't opening new branches, so there was only sort of so far where people could go, and I wasn't leaving. The letters director wasn't leaving, so understandably people left. So that's the mic. I was wondering what that was. I've lost my train of thought now. And
training.
So yeah, so people left and went. They for some reason they all went to the same company, and that company said like what do you guys do there? It's like you're a training machine, because people are coming from there and they just do everything absolutely right. And the call outs and you know, hammering the phones on a daily basis, you know, just sort of things that we thought was basic. But people would come in to work for us, and some of them had experience previously, and they were just like, wow, you guys are relentless.
I think we're really lucky, like, especially now we've condensed. So Finding Country, it's a much smaller team, but Ben's now, Ben used to deliver a lot of the training himself, and he's great. He's very engaging, and I think everybody really valued the time that he would give to us to put back into the team. But we've now, you know, we've been fortunate enough to have some really great trainers recently, you know, Claire Yates, Julian
Odell,
Odell.
yeah.
I went to the WiEA training day yesterday, and you can take so much from these people who are experts in their field, and it's a different perspective. And you, like yesterday, for example, I went with Laura and Sarah. We all just felt so empowered from being in a room of other competitors, but nobody felt like you were competing. You just come together and say, I'm really struggling with this at the moment. How about you? And realizing that everyone's dealing with the same struggles, or, you know, I think it's hugely important to us and our success is the fact that we get such regular training. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I've been 17 years, Alice 13 years, Laura 10, Sarah 7, Andy 10. We still want to do training. It's not, you know, we're not thinking, oh, we've done it for ages now, we know everything.
Yeah.
You know, even it's just a refreshing stuff, a refresher of the stuff that you forgot, you don't do anymore, or there's still stuff that you learn. So it's important that you're always, you know, there's so many agents out there. You need to give yourself the edge, I guess. So, you know, training is something we do just to try and improve what we, you know, to make ourselves better, to improve what we do to our clients and get better results.
Yeah. What's the future look like then for you guys as a couple, from the business perspective? What's the ambition?
Daniel?
Go on. What's your?
I don't know. From a personal perspective, we'd like to move in the near future, in the very near future.
Yeah. Buy a house next year. In a flat at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, Oliver keeps going on about a garden.
Yeah.
He goes to his nanny's house, if it's mine or Alice's. They've got nice big gardens there. So yeah, move next year. So yeah, we'll start getting things into place for that. And just, I guess, continue for the business to grow. We're just taking a new territory in Holland Park and West Kensington. So that's exciting. Sort of a new patch for us, but it sort of overlaps. We've got the Hammersmith team where they've got sort of Brook Green, so that's sort of an extension of that. But yeah, I guess just to continue selling wonderful, beautiful homes and just trying to get a bit more of a market share. Basically, we're still, we're no longer the new kids on the block when, you know, compared to your Savills or, you know, the neighbours next door, been around forever. We're still we still want to be better recognised, because a lot of the instructions and the businesses we do is self-generated, which is great. I'd love to get a few more people calling us saying, yeah, you know, can you sell our homes, which we're getting, but
Takes
just
time,
just more. Yeah.
Well, listen, I mean, congratulations on the amazing success stories you've had with Thorgills, now with Fine and Country. But actually, it's, do you know, it's been so lovely sitting and talking to you guys about your personal story and about Oliver. And I still don't quite know how you do this all day, every day, but you found something that works, and it is really beautiful. The last question I have to ask you is, we ask all of our guests who they would like to see on the hot seat on a future episode of the WiEA Pod.
Okay. I'd say Joe Parry.
Okay.
He's so entertaining. He is the director of Fine and Country Wales. He's brilliant. He's a good laugh. And I feel like it's a must have.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you agree?
Let's go for Nikki Stevenson.
She's been on.
Oh, has she?
We've had her.
Ah, okay.
We interviewed her.
Ah, okay. I was trying to go for a woman. Maybe Laura, my sister.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other side of the.
Won't thank you for that.
The other side.
No, she won't.
Too many Maddens.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming and
Thank
talking
you.
to us today. I
Thanks
really
for having us.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And until next time, we will see you again on the WiEA Pod.
Thank you.
Not so bad.
It does, yeah. Half an hour. Well, I don't think it would be, no. As Alice is the.
What?
You're the one worrying.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,